Peace and welcome to another episode of Artistry, where art meets industry. We are your hosts, Rochelle Etienne Robinson and Stan Substantial Robinson. Season 4 of Artistry is powered by Words, Beats, and Life. And welcome to Artistry, where art meets industry. We are Rochelle Etienne Robinson and Stan Substantial Robinson.
Peace.
Happy Wednesday, folks. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome to Artistry Podcast, where we are joined by visual and performing artists or arts administrators to discuss their creative journey. If you are already a subscriber, welcome back. Today's guest is an American contemporary artist recognized for his graffiti-deconstructive approach to abstract expressionism, utilizing his understanding of space and songwriting from his early years as a graffiti writer, music maker, and graphic designer. Bisco strips his compositions to their fundamental essence of motion and rhythm while channeling the energy of a moment through gestural marks and abstracted lyrical texts, reimagining the executive and abstract expressionist painting through his unique contemporary lens. He aims to create art that inspires hope for the future. Over the past decade, he has painted murals and performed live across the globe. He has partnered with creative brands including Nike, RED, MCM, Coach, Adidas, SLS, Hotels, and Hypebeast. With a resume of solo and group exhibitions in New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, London, Miami, Berlin, Seattle, Hong Kong, among many others, his work are sought after by private collectors and art enthusiasts. Please welcome to today's guest, Bisco Smith. Hello.
Hey.
Good to see you.
That intro, I never heard anybody read that out loud. I gotta go make some edits on that.
So
Good, man. How you feeling? Good, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a sunny day, you know. Things are good. I'm here with you two, so the vibe is good.
Hey.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
full disclosure to our audience, Bisco and we go back, what we were saying, 25 years. We all are.
1998 was the year.
Yeah. Well, he said it now.
No, which is unbelievable
It's
because
young old.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that.
And so another Pratt alum. We've known Bisco for, as we mentioned, for a long time, and it's just amazing to see your growth and development and your progress throughout this time. And of course, you and Stan have a lot of history as well.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, during those times at Pratt, during my college years, this is pre-Hideout Productions. Bisc used to DJ for myself, Pac FM, and a ton of other folks. And most notably, like Bisc actually made a mixtape that I was featured on that ultimately was heard by Hideout Productions by way of our boy Tomo, who also went to Pratt. Shout out to Tomo. We gotta get Tomo on the show.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. So Bisc has always been like a part of our, from the time we met. You know what I mean? Fast friends. Spent a lot of time in his dorm room. You know what I mean? Going through vinyl and performing and hanging out, man. Remember? Here's one to take you back. Remember Four Corners at Pratt? Remember? Yeah, man. So that was a hip hop organization that we were a part of together. But
and Rochelle was running the student union, right? And we were.
Yes, I was.
Absolutely.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, man. It's great times, man. But
you guys met in your office at Pratt. What was your office called, Stan?
In my office. Oh, okay. I was so confused. Oh, she's referring to the cafeteria. You know,
I in the cafeteria.
Right. Home away from home. You know,
Absolutely.
Definitely a ton of great relationships were both started and ended in the cafeteria. You know,
right?
Yeah, man. But great to have you, good brother.
Yo, thanks, man. Thanks. Great to be here. Great to see you both. I was thinking about that cafeteria, and when I got to school, day 2 or day 3, you walked up and like, yo, I heard you DJ. You want to get boom? We started chopping it up, and that was it. You know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, how are you? I mean, I know a lot of us, all of us, have experienced a transition, if you will, with the pandemic. We are now almost 4 years out of it, or 4 years since the initial lockdown. How has it been for you these last several years?
My life has changed a lot in a lot of good ways, and I left New York City. My wife and I had a son, our first and only child, Benjamin. He was born in February, and then lockdown was in March. So
Wow.
that was like, and we're, first time parents was very scary, and like just, I don't think I processed the anxiety of that time, truthfully. But the short of it is like that. He was born amazing, incredible, lockdown, scary, nobody around, We ended up moving to the country about a year into the pandemic up north in New York. Did that for a while, had some like crazy car accidents happening, just wildlife shit. And my wife is European, so we always had like the Europe card, and so we bounced. We moved to Lisbon, Portugal, and I feel like I'm finally settling. So I've been on this whirlwind since basically February 2020, and it's kind of, I feel like maybe I'm balancing. You know what I mean? So, but a lot of beauty in that chaos. A lot.
Yeah.
And, so much time with my family, so much time with the art. But yeah, man, alive and well, and my family's alive and well. And the sun is shining, and I'm talking to old friends, so life is all right.
Hey,
Yeah, man. Count our
absolutely.
blessings for sure.
So now you were born in New York.
No.
What would? Oh, you were
I'm
not.
born in no. Common misconception for some reason. I'm born in Massachusetts and moved to Connecticut about 10 years old, and lived in Connecticut till I went to Pratt.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so I'm from the suburbs of, I'd say like New York suburbs, Connecticut. But my father was a commuter, worked in Manhattan. So in Boston as well. When I lived in Massachusetts, he worked in Boston. So I've always had like the love for the city. You know what I mean? Since I was young. And so I moved to Brooklyn in '98.
Yeah. And it's funny because I thought that, because I remember from, of course, knowing you personally, and I was like, when I was reading up, doing the research for this interview, and I'm like, oh, he is from New York? I thought he was from
maybe someone
England.
just wrote, they just put an article out about the gallery, and they just said born in Brooklyn. I was like, yo, you can't say that.
Right.
Like, if you're not born in Brooklyn, you can't say you're born in Brooklyn. Come on. And that was their misconception, but whatever. So
that is very true.
For the
That
record,
is very true.
Right.
So what would you say was your first introduction to the arts? Was it visual arts or performing arts?
That's a good question. I mean, I think visually, because drawing when you're so young, right? And then I did do performing when I can remember in grade school. I was the lead of a play, so maybe I like to put myself, it was like that happened. But like my real art journey, when I can say, is when I discovered graffiti, for sure. That was like the real magnet. It was like, whoa, this is something I want to do more of. I think as a kid, I took some classes at a museum in Boston. I think the Metropolitan Museum in Boston, like clay classes, really young,
Wow.
But graffiti really was like, so that's like early '90s probably when I started getting into that, long ago. But yeah, my whole life's been art and music and performing and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Dope. When would you say, like hip hop specifically, because I know, similar to our guest, who you also know a few episodes back, Tony, you're somebody that shout out the concept, man. You're somebody that has always practiced like multiple elements of hip hop.
Yeah.
So when would you say your introduction to hip hop and the arts through hip hop began?
I think I can remember like Run DMC, Beastie Boys era, like when those two tapes were out, Licensed to Ill, and I forget the Run DMC tape, but I remember like hiding under my bed listening to that. So that's like super young,
Right.
But at the time, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do this. It was just something that I listened a lot to, and I always I started writing raps really young, but just like in class writing stuff, and I think. Yeah, I mean, I think when I discovered Tony Touch and mixtapes, that's when a level went deeper. When I discovered Gangstar, a level went deeper. Those are levels those are things that took me deeper into hip hop and into the culture and into doing things. But even like in Connecticut growing up, people would rave. That's where all the b-boy culture was, like the jungle raves, you know. And so I was raving, you know, not on like my ecstasy rave, but I was like the dude smoking a blunt in the dance site for watching b-boys, but it was jungle music, you know. So it's that hip hop, I don't know, but probably been practicing all things since middle school, you know, breakdancing, rapping, all that stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so which leads me to like your style, right? And so before asking the question of like, before diving into how you develop your style, I kind of feel like there were like, you know, just from knowing you and seeing your work, I feel like there were moments of seeing flashes of what would become your signature style. Like when I think back to like maybe some of your earlier work, not specifically, I mean, it was a combination of your graffiti and your music, but I can't remember the name of one of your albums that you put out, because a lot of people don't know that you do music too if they're not really paying attention. But I remember one of your early projects, you doing like this black and white color where it was this abstract like kind of graph art cover.
Yeah, like the first thing I ever put out CD was on like the, you know, the cardboard sleeve. It was just hand and I screen printed just a big tag, kind of abstract on top of that.
Dope.
So it's cool you say that, because I feel that like I can look back and the style is clearly developed through all that. You know, it wasn't like a moment of I'm gonna do this, and it's just always been that, and finding different iterations. Yeah, man, through design, through everything. So yeah.
That's dope.
That didn't really answer your question. I'm sorry. What was the question?
So the question was like how you kind of did touch on it a little bit, was like how did you first develop the style? And what you said was pretty much like there wasn't like one particular moment. It just kind of developed over time. Yeah.
I like writing too, man. Like my work's still about writing. Everything always been about writing. I just like writing, and it's like my refuge. I find peace in it. I sort my life out through it. I let go of energy through it. I do a lot of things. So rapping's like one piece of that writing element, you know. But hand style's been developing. Composition through design's been developing. So, yeah, it's a, you know, you look back, right, and all the points connect, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, your pieces, you utilize a lot of repetitive typography. Those who have seen your work, and we'll be showing you showing our audience some of your work. Would you say your pieces, like, for instance, Give Thanks, Create the Future, Time is Now, Trust in You, these pieces work as almost like a mantra or a meditation, if you will, for both not only you as an artist, but for the viewer? Was that your original intent?
I mean, there's nothing intentional, right, about like, I'm going to make these paintings that say this. But as I said, like writing's always kind of been my, I don't know what you want to call it, but I sort things out through it, you know? And as an artist, I think, at least I can only speak for myself, but I go through waves, and I go low and I go high, and I got to tell myself often, self-employed artists, all these things like, yo, keep going, like create your future. You know, these are things that I'm basically telling myself. And when I was making records, the same thing, man. Like I remember listening to records, and post 9/11, I had anxiety for a long time, and I would listen to my records at night, and that shit would like calm me down. And I think it's always been my own things I need to tell myself, but then fortunately the energy can be understood by other people, and hopefully they serve as reminders to them too, and like a blessing or a mantra or whatever it is, but an energy that moves things forward and keeps it bright, because that's what I need, you know what I mean? So hopefully it translates.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. You know,
and
speaking,
just to put it out there, the writing, there's actually no repetition in the writing. It's very rare if you were to find something that's repetitive. The way the style's born is, you know, I'm a writer. I write. That's what I do. I write on walls, write on paper. And at the time I was doing graphic design, and I had a studio in Venice, California, and I would put paper up like newsprint on the wall always. Especially when my work stops, there's no clients, I don't know what's next. I mean, you know, when you hit those things, you're like, oh, well, I got to figure out what's happening next, you know? So I had these things up, and I was trying to do my little bubbles, and my brainstorms as to like what I want, what I'm gonna set my goals to. And I had beats on. I just started writing freestyles on the paper instead of the work. I just started rapping, and I was like, in the feeling, there's like a speed to it, right? And the speed is the same as catching tags in the street. The quicker you go, the more exciting it is. That type of stuff, So, it's always like it's born out of free writing and freestyle, and not out of. It's like tagging is repetitive in nature, but it's just the style that I learned through that art translated into writing lyrics, basically. So it's very rare to be like Bisco. Like I've never done a painting that says Bisco. Over.
Right.
Got you. Okay.
No, it's dope.
But it's abstract, and some people don't get that, and some people are looking like, yo, that's writing, and I don't even know how you can't see that the paintings are made out of writing. But I think everyone takes what they feel and get, and that's all good. But I think intention is important in work, and the intention is what it is, and the energy, and you take whatever level you choose to get.
Yeah, no, definitely. You often speak about energy and how you've been quoted as saying that art is energy, and how the artist works as like the conduit for that energy. Do you personally have a spiritual practice?
Not so much. I mean, I try to meditate when my life is in balance, but that's for like 1 minute every morning, But I'm a believer of energy and like universal laws, and I just think, and I've seen it time and time again, it's all the cliche stuff. You get back what you put out, all this kind of stuff. But I believe in it, and my spirituality is like I'm in a sea of energy, and we attract or repel whatever our mind is. And so don't follow any religion, but I also I'm not anti like anybody's theory, because who really knows, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
The way I lead my life is universal energy type of thing.
Yeah.
But I would like to find spirituality, in all honesty. I think life is more balanced when you have that. I'm just yet to hit that level,
Yeah. I think that's all that we're all looking for, is just, like you said, finding balance and, putting out the good energy in hopes of getting that in return.
Yeah. No, for sure. So we kind of touched on it earlier, but in addition to visual arts, you're a performing artist. As an MC, DJ, you also produce, and you have since put down the mic and mixer for like gloves and paint. I know that you still dabble though, But
I kind of don't, bro. I actually make it, like my soul wants to, and my But I made a clear decision almost a decade ago, and it was like, all right, this music, I love it. I put out records, I toured, I made the best friends, I made things I thought was dope. But I had to look at it and think like, man, this visual art has always kept me alive. It's always paid my bills, always taken care of me. And I'm trying so hard on music, and I love it from my soul. But I started to just think like the return is coming from the visual. So if I just put 100 into the visual, what will come back? And I sold my turntables. When I left LA, I sold a box, my turntables, all the wires, all the equipment. Boom, I sold it all. I did buy my turntables back, or I got them back. You know what I mean? They couldn't go too long. I was like, I needed them, but man, I kind of just shut it off. And there's times I make beats and I make paintings to them. I've done projects where like I'll be on NPC and make paintings to them. We talk about that, but it's less of like I'm gonna put a record out type of vibe, But man, I would like to, if I get something rolling that gives me monthly income, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that income, and then I'm making records all the time.
Right. And that's what I was leaning toward when I said you dabble, because I did mention that you produce as well, and I know sometimes we check in on you, of course, and some of the stuff you post. So like and I remember you talking about like playing around with the beats and different things like that, but not so much like as in like you're releasing something new, everyone be on the lookout, new Bisco Smith album, but more so just just something that like when you want to, you do, You know what I mean? More
I
on
did a
those
dope
lines.
project. When I was living in LA, I came back and stayed in Tribeca for a couple of weeks, and I set up the MPC and a turntable in the middle of the room. And it was with this company I was making. It was called Soundwall. They were making canvases that were speakers, right? So I would just make beats every morning. I go find vinyl in the city, you know, come back, make beats, and while those beats are on loop, I'd start the painting. And I'd made this whole series of 12 paintings with 12 beats. And that's the closest I've tied the art so far together. And I would like to do more of that. But, you know, bro, I love the immediacy of painting too. Like music I feel like I hit a moment where it just felt like a lot of work. And it felt like I had to ask people to do things for me, to mix things, to master. And like, man, I don't know. Now I make a painting, I'm like, do it all myself. It's amazing, and it's done, and I can move forward, you know, instead of sitting on the energy. So I think that moved things too, you know. But music is special, man. I think it's the arguably one of the most impactful arts, you know.
Wow, no, that's powerful. Yeah, so you know, with us talking about music, you know, hip hop specifically, with hip hop turning 50 this year, as a student of hip hop, what are some of the things that stand out to you and how hip hop has impacted your life?
All right. First, I got to go with this Gangstar moment because it's so definitive. And rest in peace to my friend Matt, who put me on. But he gave me this Gangstar tape, man, and that really opened me up. And I think I learned about like jewels and hip hop, learning from hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like it was no longer party music. It was like, oh, this is like wisdom rap. And that really that affected me, man. In high school, it's funny. I write these things that are like mantras, and I think Guru and Gangstar made records that were similar, like that. You know, like Moment of Truth. Let's say that's a powerful song, and that song is like some shit you listen to over and over to get through moments. You know. So I think I would put that moment. Subway Art. My brother gave me Subway Art. That book, that was a game changer for sure. Huge publication, of course. Working with you, bro, like being with the real MC, like you're the first dude that showed me like, yo, look at this tape I made. Like you made rap records before college. I remember you had, I forget what it was, but you were playing me tapes that you did the beats on, you did the raps on, and that's a moment, bro. I remember you were like, yo, you don't like this Outkast? Like you were playing Outkast at the time. I was like, nah, bro, I don't feel that. You know, like what we did together in our hip hop moments was special for me, man. DJing like at the student union and all that kind of stuff. I really laid a cool foundation. And to be in Brooklyn with dudes like, remember Pumpkinhead was around, rest in peace.
Rest
I know
in
that
peace.
boy for a lot longer, you know, way deeper than me. But at the time, what was it, like that whole what was this shit called? Making records or something?
Yeah, making records,
like that era, ciphering outside of Pratt, rapping on the lawn, you know. And then I got into like working in the independent scene with Def Jokes, and I think at the time you were doing stuff with what was the label, bro? You and Pac were on with Tone Deaf.
Oh, Q&5 music.
Yeah, so like that era where you guys were doing that, I was really doing a lot of graphic design and hip hop, and that was a special time for me too. Like the Cannibal Ox record, you remember that record?
Yeah, for sure.
That record was another like art level. Damn, this is a heavy art, you know. I mean, bro, hip hop's given me almost everything, you know, like so much of my life, even my relationship with my wife. It's like, it's not hip hop, but we have commonalities that got us together because of our connectivity to hip hop, you know? All the homies from graffiti forever, like, dude, I don't know. Hip hop is everything, you know, for my foundation, at least, I would say. I could talk about many moments. We won't, this would be a 5-hour podcast.
It's all good, man. All good.
No, I feel
how about, I got one, yo. Table Turns in New Eurekan. Now that is that one really, that was when I was in high school. I would go and see dudes like PD Complex. And you know,
shout out to PD Complex, man. That's the homie.
Yo, here's one, Big Ray. You remember Big Ray?
Yeah, of course. Ripping all y'all. Man. Shout out to Ray.
Yeah. Wow. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, man.
Good times. You know, looking at your work, like even with this piece, like it reminds me a lot like Islamic calligraphy, where not only the words itself are the art, but the meaning behind the words. And so what my question for you is, what inspires you? Like, what inspires this style?
I mean, hip hop, you know, I like, but I think like back to the energy thing, you know, I like to, it's like speed writing and you can't think. And you know, when you're on like what I learned through rap, ciphers, and I say freestyle, right? Like Stan, you know, if you're on some cipher, like you're in a cipher, like I can't pre-think what I'm about to do. You gotta just trust that when you just go and you go. You know what I'm saying? And I approach painting the same exact way. I just go and trust. But so there's certain projects like this one, for instance. Like this was a Miami International Auto Show, right? So I'm like, when I painted this painting, all I was thinking about was like driving through Miami, and I just wrote a rap about driving through Miami and what that vibe is like, and then boom, it goes to that. You know, I paint commissions, or I work with companies, and I talk to everyone, try to get their energy, try to figure out what they're about, what the company's about, what the people are about, and then make something on that. But never with anybody checking I just do what I do. You know what I'm saying? And write what comes to me freely.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And it looks, I think, okay. Like people like how it looks, you know what I mean? The aesthetics, I've been working on it for a long time. So even like when things are super abstracted, it always starts with some kind of music on and some kind of moment of like, you know, when the beat hits and you feel like rapping, it's the same thing. I just stand until the right beat comes with the right intro and the right vibe, and boom, start rocking. You know?
Yeah, man. No, it's dope.
Rap taught me that, and I learned a lot from skateboarding to rap, and like all the, like I could equate, you know, like when you do a 16 bar, when you land a 16 bar verse, right? I would always be like, man, it's like skateboarding on a run. Like you land 3 tricks in a row and you slide out, and that feels amazing. You know, when you get through your 16 smooth, and at the end you're like, it's the Same thing, just like you get to the end, boom, and that's the moment's over. That's it.
Yeah, nah, super dope. Nah, that's a great analogy. Yeah, man.
They all inform each other. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of informing people, I think it's a great time to inform folks about our sponsor. Want to shout out Words, Beats, and Life real quick. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Bisco Smith. But right now, a word from Words, Beats, and Life. Everybody hang tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My name is Kalia, and I teach the DJ course here at Words, Beats, and Life. Well, I started DJing around 19, 20 years old. It actually helped me with my social skills. I felt like it was way easier for me to make friends. I also was able to learn from different cultures while DJing. I enjoyed teaching people the difference between house music and drum and bass. What I hope people get out of DJing is a sense of confidence. I would say for myself personally, as I started getting out there on my own, I built up a little confidence in myself, and I learned how to have fun a lot more and also project myself without actually saying anything. That's why I'm with Words, Beats, and Life. Enroll in the DJ class today at wblinc.org/academy.
All right, and we are back. Shout out once again to our sponsor, Words, Beats, and Life. Be sure to sign up for the Academy, which is actually getting ready to start up very soon. It's a 6-week academy. You can take everything from DJ classes, MCing classes, video production, graffiti art, and a long list of other classes. They have classes around entrepreneurship as well. Really, really great program that's doing a lot of great work in the DMV over 20 years. Shout out to them. Thanks again to Words, Beats, and Life. But we are back with our brother from another mother, brother Bisco Smith. Clap it up once again for Bisco Smith. Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yo, shout out to hip hop though. That was a cool commercial, and it makes me think about like what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
hip hop moments and like what it gives to people and how like my whole life gave me like, man, look what it like. That dude's like, yo, it gave me confidence. And I know you're an educator, Stan, and I know you've seen it in kids time and time again. You give them something like that, they get nice, and boom, they're like, it's not even about hip hop, it's not even about DJing, it's not even about rap. It's like life confidence, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It has literally saved lives. It has saved lives. It has helped many people provide. It's created jobs. It's done. Yo, hip hop culture has done so much for the world. We catch a lot of blame for a lot of stuff that really has way more to do with American culture than hip hop specifically. And you know, talking about like gun violence and things like that. But hip hop has literally changed lives and saved lives, you know?
Yes.
You know, I want to transition real quick to talking about the business side of your art. As we mentioned before, you know, you have had solo exhibitions, you have pieces that are available for purchase. Like, what have been some of your biggest lessons that you have learned? Because essentially you're, you know, are you represented currently? Are you represented by agency?
I have no agency. No. I have a lot of partnerships with galleries and stuff, but nobody does my business but me.
Right. So what are some of the lessons that you can share with our audience that you've had to learn the hard way and things that you've just put into your everyday practice?
It's a good question. I don't know, you know, I'd say like being self-employed or doing my own hustling or doing my own business has a lot of pluses and some minuses, you know, and the plus side is I like people, so I like the relationships, and as I think most businesses, relationships, it's who you know, it's how you deal with people, how you put yourself out there, all these things, and I've fortunately been comfortable and enjoy connecting with people. So from the art business to graphic design business to whatever business, I always sort of just been out in the world, you know. Pre-internet was a lot more, you got to go out at night and figure out, you know, connect with people and make things happen. Yeah. The internet has really shifted that, where it's easier to put what you do out in the world. I mean, I think value is a big thing I learned, and how we value ourselves. And, you know, if people pay $1 for a t-shirt, or they pay $700 for a t-shirt. And the world has a lot of possibility that sometimes can't be seen, but if you can see it, like they say, you could do it, you could be it, right? So, I don't know, I try to be a good person. I try to show up on time. I try to do the work. I put a lot of effort in. It's not an easy journey to get here. It's not a 9 to 5 journey. This is a 9 to 10 journey, 6 days a week journey for a lot of years, if not more than that. Yeah, but it's all, I you know, I lived in New York and LA for a long time, and I paid to play in those worlds. And I would always think that when I'm paying high prices for rent, paying high price for a studio, I'm like, this is the game. What game you want to play? You want to play, so you pay those prices to get those. That's a thing. Yeah, I think that's some.
Yeah. So now, I mean, you just talked about living in LA and New York. And so, like, now you're in Lisbon, Portugal. Can you talk a bit about? What'd you say?
Who would have known? I know. Here, bro, you know?
I know, right? Yeah, for sure, man. I remember when you made the announcement that's what you and your family were doing, and it was just like, it was crazy because we spend a lot of time talking about other places we'd like to live. And that is a place that, you know, has been on Shell's radar really heavy.
I've been doing a deep dive on YouTube.
There's a lot of content about it on YouTube. I know that.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm just interested to know, as someone who has, like, you know, relocated not just yourself but your family, you know, and you're still doing the art full time. So talk a bit about, like, what led to the move. Also talk a bit about, like, what are some of the advantages of being out there? Because there are some people now who maybe live in places that aren't on the map per se. And they're thinking about relocating to a LA or a New York, right? Now, and talk a bit about, is is it possible for them to not necessarily be there and see the level of success that someone like you is seeing? Or, you know, or were there a ton of advantages to going that route before making this move?
I don't know how the world has changed, but I think it's still important if you want to play in the majors to live where the major league, where people play in the majors. You know what I'm saying? That's like big gallery spaces. I mean, Seattle's beautiful. Miami's beautiful in terms of economy and business. And some would say New York and LA are not a good place right now. And it's better to go somewhere smaller and build something. I think it all depends what you want. I think had I not had my foundations in New York and Los Angeles, I don't know. I don't know if I would have the same success, but there's artists coming out of here, Lisbon, Portugal, are having great success. It works amazing. So, but it's another international city on the map, you know? So I think if you're living in Connecticut, it's going to be harder than trying to make it in New York City, but it's going to be harder to make it in New York City. But, you know, moving here is really a family decision, and it's not a work decision. LA and New York, excuse me, is work. And that's what it's about. That's what the hustle's about. That's what paying those bills are about. That's not better life for my son. That's not more chill for the family. And so if I was just chasing work, I'd be in New York still, you know, because I love that city and I love the hustle. But my family, having a son in America, at 18 months old, we had to keep him out of school because of a shooting threat that was on TikTok, and we made the choice to do that. My wife is her best friend is a teacher. They were all day texting with the daughter on the line too, like really scared all day, you know. And my wife, my amazing, wonderful wife, for so many reasons, really worked hard to make sure our son was dual nationality, because she's French, so she's dual nationality, born and raised in the U.S., but you know, she's got the passport, so she made that happen for our son, knowing that like we should keep this in the back pocket. You know? And that happened. So like I said in the beginning, we had our son in the pandemic, which was really weird and scary and beautiful and all these different things at once. We left New York City and moved upstate New York, bought a house, built a studio in there, like tried to live that country life and not the vibe, you know, really not secluded, and series of events, a few car accidents that were not cool at all. And that gun thing, we're like, yo, let's get out of here. Like, let's just get out of here. When we almost, like my family in the car for 2 car accidents, you realize how short life could be and how fast. Like I had moments that like, wow, I don't know how we're here. I really have no idea, but we should do some things and live our lives, because, yo, this could just be a wrap. And we saw that very clearly. Came here and it's just less stress, man. That American anxiety. Like I'm still listening to the New York Times. I'm still tuned into what's happening with the elections and all this stuff. And but man, I'm chill out here. You know what I mean? My kid is thriving, and the people are wonderful. And it's hard, man. It's got hard. You know, I'm on Google Translate half my day. You know what I'm saying? Like, not with the everyday people, but like legit business stuff. You know, there's a lot of business I wasn't thinking about when moving here. But there's a really vibrant art scene happening here too. And Lisbon's got a lot of it's happening right now, so it's a dope place to be in Europe. It's sunny and warm, and the beach is here, and you know all those things you want in life. And you don't got to think about your kid getting shot, like, and that's so real. And you got 2 of them in high school. Like, I know there's that anxiety though. That's like, someone told me, you know, the other day, he's like, I had to leave America because I can't. And he's got kids. And I was like, man, that's a good, you know, like you got the opportunity, like you know, I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's heavy over there.
Yeah, bro. Listen,
and I'm an advocate of moving in general. Like LA changed me. Move from New York to LA changed me. I don't know how Lisbon's gonna change me or my wife or my family, but the more we can explore, the more, you know. So why not?
Yeah. No, absolutely. You know, we talked a lot during the pandemic about moving, and dedicated a lot of time into making it happen. Was having the meetings. Was
where were you?
You know, we were actually looking to move to Japan, and it was solely based off of the amount of relationships that we already have there. Like where would we be able to move where it wouldn't be as huge of an adjustment, simply because we have people on the ground there already. And, you know, between a ton of our old friends from Pratt, well, I wouldn't say a ton, but like enough of our old friends from Pratt live there. My partner Marcus D is out there with his wife. You know,
he
other
moved
people.
out there, huh?
Yeah. So he lives out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we were spending a lot of time and like, you know, investigating it. You know, but the one thing you learn about a lot of these places, they move at a different pace than we do here in the States. And so that really made it challenging to come to fruition.
In terms of what? Business, they move slow, you think?
Yeah, just in terms of like, you know, we're an operation of two. So like if you ask us a question, we can get back to you same day most times because, you know, we are the bosses, right? So
right, there's no one to check with.
Yeah, but for some of these companies that we were doing business with and trying to get our, you know, do it legit, like not just, you know, oh, we're gonna go visit and stay. You know what I'm saying? Like we were trying to go about it the right way because we knew we were serious about staying and putting our kids in school, et cetera, et cetera. And just the challenges you face, you know, it helps to have people on the ground, but those people on the ground have their own lives and stuff like that.
And then also the language barriers.
And the language barrier. And
it's
just
a big difference,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, for sure. So this is something that we still talk about and stuff. And it might not be Japan. It'll probably be somewhere else in the world. But I mean, listen.
Hey,
Shell knows whatever we need to know about moving to Portugal. This woman knows, and then we got y'all. I don't know how long y'all are going to be there, but we'll keep you posted.
Please do.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought about Japan too when I was in Tokyo. I was like, because I don't know, I love New York, but it's weird. Every time I left it, I'd be like, let's move here. Like it's somewhere else. I'm always ready to move somewhere else. You know?
Yeah.
Tokyo, Japan seems dope, man. You know?
Yeah.
And again,
I mean, that's how we felt.
Kids, like you know the little yellow hats they wear out there, and the kids walk around. Everyone keeps an eye on the kids. Like it's special. It's really special. I could say from living here in an environment that really cares about the children, like in a way that's so palpable, man. Like your kid, I don't know, just everybody's not afraid to help your kid and help you, and all. It's a different vibe out here, you know.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not performative, right? Like I feel like here there's a lot of performative energy about things that people claim to care about. But then, you know, from their politics to their day-to-day lives, like there's a ton of things that you kind of pick apart their arguments based on their actions. What's the old song? It's like, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do, right? So yeah, no, I get what you're saying 100%. And, you know, Shell knows every time we go somewhere, every time we visit somewhere, man, listen.
It's an audition.
When we were in Hawaii before the pandemic popped off, a group of fans came up to me after the show, and I realized halfway through talking to them that most of them were black, and I was like, "Hey, man, how do they treat the blacks out here?" Right?
Say Hawaii?
Yeah, we were in Hawaii. Right now, it's not technically leaving the States, but you know, it was different than the environment we live in, and so I'm always asking, like,
Hawaii, bro. But that's a real question too, how they treat black folks, because America is it's a level, you know?
Bro. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, we're always auditioning, so we'll see.
Always auditioning.
We might have to pay a visit.
Come visit, you know, do the Spain, do the Portugal, the little loop, check them out.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
absolutely.
It will definitely be happening.
Yeah, we're going to put it out in the universe.
We're going to put it out. We're going to put it out there.
Put it in the universe.
Just to circle back, you know, when we talked about, you know, being as a working artist and representing for the culture, back in 2018, you became an ambassador of what's called calligraffiti, if I'm saying this right. What is that, and what is your role as an ambassador, and are you still working with them?
Shout out to Shu, my friend Shu. He's a very legendary artist, and that's his term. It's a mix of calligraphy, graffiti, and it's sort of his movement, you know. And at the time, I don't really do much, to be honest with you, and it's like just a collective type of thing, you know. But it's more a style than it is anything else, and it's my boy's thing, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know how to dig into that one, but calligraphy is it's like an art movement, you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
an art style, calligraphy and graffiti, and yeah, it's not too much going on that one. Sorry.
No,
No
that's
worries,
okay.
no
No
worries.
worries. You know, with your style and how it's developed over the years, since becoming a husband and now a father, do you feel like your style has changed? Has it shifted at all?
I mean, the content has a little bit because it's more relevant to it's always relevant to my life, you know.
Yeah.
But I haven't made a major visual shift, and I feel there's something coming. I got some things on the walls that are different, and I'm excited about. And, you know, just being when my son came, it was like go time. You know what I mean? And it wasn't time to like, oh, let me try something new and just experiment now. It's like go time. Shit is real. You know what I mean? There's a baby on board now, but I'm in
Yeah.
a place now where things are a little slower and I can experiment, and I've been experimenting, so it'll probably shift. But that's more environment than it is sun. You know,
Yeah.
the best thing is just watching my kid. He loves being painting, being in the studio. He's so creative and it's so beautiful. You know?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, does he draw? Does he
Draws
paint?
every night before bed. Like instead of
Oh,
reading, we sit in bed and draw. And
that's awesome.
it's really cool. He's really good at colors and he's building things now, and it's just so cool to see. You know, as you know, like it's I don't know. I think nothing beats raising a child in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, I make paintings. They're so irrelevant compared to a human. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, make a human. That's a level. So
Yeah.
I really am. Every day is it's amazing.
Ah, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
You know, you recently launched a show at a gallery in Tokyo. Was it in Tokyo, Japan recently?
Yep.
It's currently still up, right?
Yeah. So 1 month it was up. It's already down.
Okay.
Okay. So
Typically,
what's
that's like
next?
gallery style. You get a month. You know, a month on the wall,
Right.
promotion. I
Yeah.
did a show in Osaka and in Tokyo back to back with the same
Dope.
gallery. It was really dope. It's really nice to be in Japan and to be well received and to bring the work out there. And, you know, it's cool.
That's what's up.
So let's talk about some behind the scenes. So when you do that, because obviously you live in Portugal, you're traveling with your work to Japan. Like, talk to us a little bit about the logistics of that. Like,
Process.
is the gallery responsible? Are they
shipping.
collecting?
Yeah, a lot of shipping. Yeah, the gallery puts up the shipping. I put up the time to make everything, you know. And depending on the partnership, we do different things and different splits, and people pay for different things, you know. But typically, you treat it well, you know. Treated
Yeah.
well. You know, artwork's moved by. I mean, Portugal logistics are a little bit tougher than America. That's a learning curve for me, but fortunately, I got some good people, and yeah, we can ship things, you know. So they
Yeah.
basically all the artwork ships there. I fly there. We then set it up, and boom, there it is on the wall.
Yeah. And how many pieces were displayed?
Between the two was 25.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's such fun work to do something so just like shut the world out and work, you know, on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not always doing exhibitions. They take a lot out of me, you know, to do that amount of work and that amount of focus, and then make the videos and tell the story and do all the things that go with that.
Yeah.
But it's dope to really focus and see a clear reflection of like that moment in time.
Yeah.
Because I really don't ever know what I'm doing till I'm doing it. And then I start doing it, and then, you know, it's like when you make a record, maybe, unless it's concept record, you start recording records with you feel, and at some point you're like, all right, what am I saying? For me, what am I saying? What is this record
Right.
about? Where am I at in my life right now?
Right.
Right.
Wow. So what's next for you? Do you have any other shows, upcoming shows?
I'm going to be in Miami this year for Art Basel, doing some stuff. I don't know if I could put it out there yet. I kind of want to wait till I share what that is, but some cool stuff in Miami. And I'm just trying to get balance back in the studio, and I'm going through all my inventory. I shipped a lot here from Brooklyn, like a whole sea box of art things. So I just went through so many paintings this last week. I'm trying to I feel like the pandemic hit and I just went 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm kind of now being able to like stop, assess what I have, assess what I've done. I'm hitting a 10-year mark on just painting, like straight up painting for 10 years, you know, making a living. So looking back at that, thinking about putting together some collection to tell that story a little bit. I'm sort of in the inhale moment, is what I'm thinking. Like, I had to write on my wall the other day, remembering to breathe, or learning to breathe, or something like that, because I'm in a moment where I'm soaking it all up and coming back internal, and I've been putting it out for so long. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a great moment. It's on a business artist side. It's a different moment because I'm not chasing anything right now, and that is it's a great place to be. But you always want opportunity in front of you. But I have some opportunity. It's all good, but I have to trust that what's ahead is going to be all good. It's like, things are slow in a great way. If that makes sense. Slow so I can reflect. And I've been saying this for so long. It's funny, like the universe, man. I've been saying for so long, like I got to chill and just look at all this stuff and take a moment out, and everything slowed down from perfect time so I can do it. But Miami for sure. I'm gonna try to get my studio popping a little bit out here with doing events and stuff. I have a really nice space and it's big, and I can invite people and do some things back in the studio, which would be cool. So some of that, and kind of just rocking Europe a little, staying in Europe,
Yeah, man.
enjoying that, and hanging with my family, making paintings.
Yeah, man, it's dope.
Trying to spend some time on boats. We'll see if that works, but I don't have a boat. I need some friends with boats, but that'd be nice.
Yeah, for sure. That's dope, man. So we've reached that time of the interview where we do our rapid fire questions. All right.
Let's see where we land.
Yeah, man. So
we have five
total. And the first one, everybody knows that you work primarily, well, those who know you, right, know that you work primarily in black and white. But we're curious to know, what's your favorite color and why?
If it wasn't black, I guess that's not a color, right? So I'd say blue. And I'd say blue because of the sky, the water, the nature, the calm vibes, So,
okay.
Blue.
All right.
Okay. Number 2. So you've traveled around the world. I'm going to name some places and you're going to tell us what's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, what memory do you have with that place? So the first one is Lagos, Nigeria. What was that like?
I think of this gecko. Like, I saw this gecko. The whole body worked with black and orange because when I was first there, I ran across this lizard, and that lizard was like, I had no time. I had like a short amount of time to work. To create this body work, so I was trying to get any inspiration I could. I was like, that's the color scheme right away, and so I think about that. But then I think about this cat Osa 7. Shout out to Osa 7, who, when I was there, we connected. He's an artist, and he was like, yo, bro, I've been watching your work for a long time. He's an amazing artist, and to know that like my energy has touched him in Nigeria and we're connected through the art was really special to be able to be. And I feel like art's a passport. You go around the world, you meet people, but especially hip hop art, like we're all connected. So be in Nigeria and be like, yo, man, this is crazy. Like, that was special.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, we'll say London, UK. Any fond memories?
I don't know. Well, I just got some artwork back from London today, so I'm kind of thinking about London. But I think, like, working with the gallery I was out there, it's a really beautiful gallery. And the scale of the gallery was really big. It was bigger than anything I've taken on. And to be able to execute that and see the vision through was really dope. And London is like a New York to me, and going out there was the first time post-pandemic I had left New York and was in the countryside, so like out for a year, and I went to London. I was like, yo, they don't have masks on. It's like COVID doesn't exist out here. It was very overwhelming, to be honest. My last experience in London. I didn't really love it. You know what I mean? No disrespect to London, but it didn't move me the way other places moved me. But the people are always dope, right? I mean, it's about the people. Like, I just like the people. So there's great people out there, and I brought my son and my wife out there too in the middle of the show, which was really special to see Little Benjamin in front of Big Ben and have that whole thing, and so it's a good city, but maybe too much for me at the time. My last go there.
Yeah. Okay, great. And the last one, of course, your current residence, Lisbon.
what do I first think of?
Yeah, what do you first think of?
It's so cliche, but pastel de natas, which are like the little things you eat in the cafe. You know, I see you already know because you're watching YouTube, but I mean that just makes me think about cafe culture. If you're sitting in a park out here, like where I live, there's this beautiful park. It's got playgrounds. It's got cafes. You could have your pastel de nata or whatever you want to eat with your coffee or your beer, your wine, and it's very peaceful and calm.
Dope.
Yeah, so that's what
I'm laughing because you'll see why with the next question.
Because the next question.
Because you from New England, right?
Right. Yeah. So because but I mean, this isn't New England. I mean, you spent a lot of time in New York. So the question is, pastel de nata or New York cheesecake?
I thought you were gonna say pizza, and I was gonna say no doubt. I mean, how could you even ask me that?
I mean, well, we could.
And it's so funny. I was gonna say that, but I was like, compare a sweet with a sweet. But go ahead.
That makes sense. I'm not like a cheesecake guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I had juniors twice in my life, and So I'm gonna go pastel de nata for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
But I'll put pizza over everything.
Right. Got it. We respect it.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. So next, which artist do you most identify with style-wise? Barry McGee, Fernando Carlo Jr., a.k.a. Cope 2, Keith Haring, or Niall Shoe?
Or who?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, Neil's
Shoe. Molman. And why? My bad.
The Shoe is calligraphy, right? But we're talking calligraphy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ooh, I don't know, man. Like they all have special attributes that I think I would like to have. Like to, I don't want to compare myself to, but I like to. Like I love Shoe's freedom. I like him as a human. I know him as out of all those people. It's Cope 2, Shoe. Who else again? Herring and the other one.
And McGee. Barry McGee.
I mean, man, I wouldn't even compare I can't. They're just too ill. Like I'm my own human, but I just like them all, man. They're all dope. Like Twist got the best tags. Barry McGee from back in the day. Cope, Crusher, Shoe, great fun dude, dope work, free work. So I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't put myself. I'm really trying to put myself in my own space and not worry about nobody, not look at nobody, not pay attention, just do me. And so I'm trying to get that point with age too, where you like kind of let go, especially with hip hop, like wanting people's accolades or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want this famous rapper to know I rap, or I want this famous painter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like doing me. If I could land where those stars are, I'm good. Or surpass them, I'm even greater. We'll see.
No doubt. Expecting.
Now, as you read comics, right? Or read comics when you were younger?
Not so much, no.
Not so much?
Okay.
But you could ask the question. I'm heavy on Spider-Man because that's my son.
Well, it's funny you should say that because so we wanted to say because these two characters are known for their art as being artists, or so you have Miles Morales or Kyle Rayner, aka Green Lantern.
Man, I don't know. I'm just gonna say Miles because that's what my Benjamin is playing with, and so I'm gonna go on his team, whatever that team is,
Because so Miles, he does graph as well.
Yeah, he's a graph artist.
He's a graph artist.
Have you seen the Spider-Verse movies?
No, but I think I need to see this.
You definitely need to fix that.
As a writer, bro.
Yeah.
Man. Where do you watch this?
So you can watch
the first one is.
I don't know if the first one is on Netflix Plus? Anymore. No, it's definitely not on Disney Plus. Okay. But it's called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's the first one. The new one is in theaters right now. That's called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But bro, as your fellow artist,
the first one for sure.
Both of them, like in terms of what they do with animation, bro, they push the envelope, and then because of the fact that graph is very much a part of who Miles is. Like the nods and stuff, man, to hip hop culture to graffiti art and to New
Their
York.
superpowers, like any graph writer would want that superpower. For
Of
sure.
course.
Bro, like
It's awesome.
You know? Cool. I'll
yeah.
check that.
Oh yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. And great answer. You know what I mean? Regardless.
Thanks. That's where you're going to, Miles Morales.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, we were rooting for Miles quietly. You know what I mean? But last up, man. Just before we go, we always ask folks to, you know, of course, any advice that you would have to artists that are just starting out. You know, we know everyone's path is not the same, but definitely, what advice would you have?
My first thought is like just be headstrong, you know, sort of thinking about the mindset it takes to be an artist. And I think that's very important because it comes with successes and failures. And you got to keep moving forward through the failures, because even, you know, the failures aren't really failures if you keep moving. But if you let it stop you, then that's the failure. I think knowing possibility is very important, and really knowing that many things are possible. And it's just work and connectivity. Like I didn't really know you could be a painter until I was 30, and it took me meeting certain people to see like, oh, that's a reality. You could really do that, you know. So it's all possible, and I think like everybody says, you got to really love it because it's a lot of work, and to really stay on top and see it through and bring things to fruition takes a lot of work. So I think we're in a time where being artists is an amazing thing, and it's beautiful to think about, but also it's work, you know what I mean? And real work and fun work, but you gotta love it because some days it's art life, you know, it's wavy.
Yeah.
Riding waves over it, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here with
Appreciate
us.
you, brother.
This
Thank
was
you, guys.
great. We really enjoyed learning more about your story. As we mentioned before, you know, it's amazing how you can know somebody but not really know their journey, know their
Well, we haven't
story.
spoken in a long time. It's really nice to see you two, see you together, see you on the internet, raising your family and doing the work you're doing,
Appreciate you, brother.
working with the youth, and, you know, making a positive impact in the world still. I mean, you guys always been on it, but you're still on it. And thank you
Appreciate
for
that.
the time and the light,
Yes,
guys.
thank
I appreciate it. You know, I really do.
Yeah, no, appreciate you. And we'll definitely be in touch because, like I said, 2024.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Come see my family. I'll show you guys around and give you.
Absolutely.
And any pre-planning information, reach out, please. I'll share everything I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you. Well,
And
that is.
record too. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
into adultish, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Coming next
Everybody
month,
touch
adultish.
Yes,
Adultish
indeed.
coming. You know,
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, brother.
excited for it. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Nice to catch up.
Thank you. And so
Thank you,
just
brother.
sit tight. We're gonna wrap up with Bisco Smith. But
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, so real quick, just wanted to give y'all a heads up. First, peace to our brother Bisc. But yeah, man, definitely wanted to give everyone heads up that we are getting ready to go to AwesomeCon. Just a reminder to everyone that tuned in last week, you can catch us at AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. We're going to throw that flyer up there for y'all. You can catch us at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center this coming Friday through Sunday, and we will be doing sketch pads live at AwesomeCon on Saturday night from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. So come through, get some free art supplies. Check out our featured artist, which is Alan Cole, who's a Cooper Union alum and also has done a ton of work for WordPress. In fact, you've probably used his templates to design your website and didn't know it. But he's an amazing artist. Definitely come through. And the dope thing about him is he's also a music producer that people know as Almost, formerly known as Algorithm. So he'll be doing a live beat set, but he'll also be doing live art while I'll be doing a beat set during his drawing exhibition. And we also have Andrew Smart, pardon me, from Moon Lair Studios. And we have two cosplayers as well as Kiranai Kiba and our brother Navy Montel as our figure models. So we'll have cosplayers as figure models, dope musicians playing dope beats while live art is happening, and you'll be with us with your free art supplies doing what you do. So shout out to our sponsor, Words, Beats, and Life, for the podcast, but who are also sponsoring this event, along with our partners, Artway Alliance and also Game Castle. Yeah. Think I got everything?
I think you got it.
And Bisco mentioned that my album's coming soon. Adultish, you can pre-order it right now on Bandcamp. Grab you some vinyl. You can get you some custom Vans. That's right. We got Adultish Vans, shirts, all types of dope stuff. But on that note, I think we covered everything. Am I right?
I think so.
I think we're good. Okay, high five for Jesus. Let the church say amen.
Amen.
All right, folks, we will see you next week. Who do we have on the show next week?
Next week, we have also a longtime friend, another Tony. This will be Tone Deaf.
Hey,
will be in the house. Tone Deaf.
That was a great segue because he actually mixed and mastered.
Yes, he did.
And also has some co-production credits on my upcoming album, Adultish. So shout out to my brother Tone. Looking forward to that one. Definitely should be an entertaining one because Tone is hilarious.
He's
as
a
well.
fool.
Yes, indeed. But on that note, we are out of here, folks. Thank you for tuning in, whether you watched us on YouTube or Facebook, or if you are listening to the podcast on one of the many platforms. We appreciate you so much. Y'all have a great one. We will see you next time. Peace. Thanks for listening to Artistry, where art meets industry. Season 4 of Artistry is powered by Words, Beats, and Life. Visit www.wblinc.org to learn more. This podcast is produced by Substantial Art and Music. For more information, please visit www.subartandmusic.com. You can also follow us on social media at subartandmusic. Peace.